Super Smash Brothers!
Oh, hello, my friends. I've just slid in today to record a video regarding Super Smash Brothers, the most exciting game of the year. Specifically, one specific aspect, the ARMS representation. So ARMS is a series that was released in June of last year and received critical acclaim as well as a plethora of sales, and it's a very lovely game. I liked it a lot, and it is one of Nintendo's newest franchises, and I think it is a very likely candidate for representation in Super Smash Bros. For the Nintendo Switch this year, 2018. And given that we're probably going to know a whole lot more about Super Smash Bros. In about a month at E3, I thought, well, now is a good time to discuss what might happen in regards to the ARMS character. So first up, we have the most important part of any Smash Bros. Game, the characters. I think the most likely character is, of course, Springman, who's effectively the mascot of ARMS. He's basically the Mario of ARMS, and I think him in Smash Bros. Is pretty much a 100% guarantee. I think there have been some that are saying, oh, ARMS is too new to be receiving a character in Smash Bros. I would personally disagree with that. I think we have examples such as Greninja, where there are very new characters and yet they're still in the game. Although it is soon, obviously Nintendo has known about ARMS for longer than we have. Presumably Smash Bros. Has also been in development concurrently, and I think it's very clear that ARMS is a very big Nintendo series, and it being in Smash Bros. Could help to really boost sales of ARMS. And it's a nice cross promotion, and it's all good things like that, and it just seems very likely to me. And I would honestly be very surprised if we did not see an ARMS character in the game, even if it wasn't in the initial release. Even DLC for ARMS characters is a lock if for some bizarre reason they aren't in the initial release. So with Springman, I imagine him having a very basic moveset in terms of ARMS. He'll use his toasters, and the other ARMS Springman has the names of those elude me, but the one with the tri-bolt and the spinny one, the one that spins around. So I think he'll have those, and he'll utilize those in different ways within his moveset. And he'll have a grab attack, and his shield attack will be like the ARMS shield, and then it'll break like the ARMS shield, and so we'll basically be seeing a 2D version of some of these ARMS characters within Smash Brothers, and they'll obviously have to bolster up their moveset with some kicks maybe, and some more shorter punches, but I think overall we're going to see a lot of long-range punching and grabbing and shielding. And then I think for some of the alternate moves, like some of the special attacks, we can use some of the alternate arms, like the spinning one, and the one with the three things that shoot out that thing. So I think we'll definitely see stuff like that in Springman's moveset, and it's going to be a real nice time. Next up, we have another character who I think is very likely, or who is also fairly likely, and that's Ribbon Girl. Ribbon Girl is sort of the secondary mascot of ARMS. She's featured on the box art as well as Springman. She's very popular among ARMS people, I think, and she seems like a pretty natural fit, I think, as sort of a second character, sort of the Luigi to the Springman Mario, and a nice bit of second representation for that game. And since Ribbon Girl actually has a vastly different moveset from Springman, they could sort of have a very altered version of Springman with more of a focus on the jumping and stuff like this Ribbon Girl does. She could have her arms, like the electric one and the other such things that its Ribbon Girl is known for. So with the alternate costumes for these characters, that's something I just recently thought of. And obviously they can have the 4 from the game, of course, because obviously ARMS has alternate colors. But they could also do, some of the ARMS artwork actually has these characters in different costumes, and I think those look really cool. I think there's Springman in sort of casual clothing, as well as Ribbon Girl in sort of a dress thing, sort of a different outfit. So I think perhaps if they could have those in there as some of the alternate costumes, that would be pretty cool, and sort of a nice way of doing that. That would be pretty neat. So one thing I was thinking for the moveset is that for the final Smash, they could just use the rush attack from ARMS, and that would be a really easy way of doing that. Obviously, it functions differently in ARMS. In ARMS, you build up the Smash attack. In Smash Brothers, you just get the Smash Ball. But I think just having that would be a really natural fit, and you just punch a lot with the rush attack, and that's always a lot of fun. And obviously, for Springman and Ribbon Girl, they can have slightly different rush attacks. Obviously similar, but it's different because they have different arms. something like that would be pretty nice. So I think we've discussed those in depth enough. I think we've discussed the main characters reasonably well. So I will be moving on to the stages, another important aspect of Smash Brothers. Okay, so for the stages, the most obvious pick, of course, Spring Stadium. This is basically the main ARMS stage. It's the most recognizable one, I would say. And you could do some cool stuff with sort of the trampolines. What I was envisioning for this stage is very similar to the Punch-Out stage, where you have the main arena in the center, and then on the sides you have the trampolines, and then on the edges of the stage you have sort of a walking area. That just seems to make the most sense to me. Perhaps they could do something different, but that is sort of what I thought of. And one thing that I was thinking of for this stage is Smash Brothers really like their gimmicks. So what I was thinking is perhaps we could have some of the healing items show up, and then you create a healing area for characters. And then we could also have the soccer bombs that appear in ARMS show up and have an explosion. I think that would be a pretty cool way of mixing things up and sort of having a stage gimmick. They wouldn't appear super often, but every once in a while. And I think since we already have items that are really equivalent to those in Smash Brothers already, this sort of makes a way for them to be included within the game, within the stage, as opposed to taking up an item slot that would be somewhat redundant since we already have bomb items and healing items. Of course, that is possible, but I think having them be a stage element would be a way to differentiate that stage from the Punch-Out stage and other similar arena-like stages. The other stage I was thinking of that is the most possible, apart from Spring Stadium, is Sky Arena, because I think this is it's the sort of final boss area of ARMS, and I think it would work really well as an ARMS stage, and perhaps if they wanted to do 2 ARMS stages, I think that would work well. Not that it's super likely, but I think it would work as well in tandem with the Spring Stadium. Just another thought. I don't think that's nearly as likely as Spring Stadium, but still a possibility, and more possible than most of the other stages. One other thing that I think is super important in Smash Brothers, this one's pretty straightforward. We have the music, and I think for this we'll have, for the Spring Stadium stage, we'll have a remix of the main ARMS theme. It'll be pretty similar, but sort of, a remixed version. And then we'll also have included a lot of the different stage music in that one stage, or in Sky Arena as well, if that's added. We'll have a couple of remixes of some of the themes, and then a fair amount of just reused tracks from the ARMS game, because obviously, those fit perfectly with the stage. Now we're getting on to some other stuff. We have assist trophies / items. What I was thinking for items, I think this was one that could be pretty interesting, is Headlock. Headlock is an item in ARMS game in a special mode, and in it, you put it on and you get big old punch powers, and it's pretty neat. So I think this is a very possible thing. You could sort of just punch, I don't know, more if you grabbed it as your character, just sort of get a lot more punches or something, or maybe they would have arms attached to it so you could punch a lot. And then it would end with the sort of big explosion shot that the Headlock fires as its rush attack. So I think that would be a cool way of ending it, and that would sort of signify that the Headlock is concluded, and that would be sort of the last hurrah of the Headlock item. For assist trophies, I was thinking we could have the sort of clone things that attack you in the 1 versus 100 mode. Have them just sort of appear and just run around grabbing people and throwing things around, just causing a ruckus. I think that would be pretty neat. And that's just sort of the most the best way I could think to incorporate assist trophies. Of course, they could have other ARMS characters as assist trophies. That is also a very possible thing, but I thought that the clones would be sort of a nice way to do that. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say about ARMS characters coming to Smash Brothers. And of course, I'm going to talk about Helix. Helix is a god, and him in relation to Smash Brothers is actually very interesting. Because I actually think, of the ARMS characters, aside from Springman and Ribbon Girl, he has the best chance. Because he's just such a unique character. He's a gooey man, and he runs around and he punches people. And his arms are just so fundamentally different from Springman and Ribbon Girl. He has the Blord, the Guardian, he has the Ice Dragon, and all of those could be utilized in his moveset to make it way, way different from Springman and Ribbon Girl, and really interesting. And he's just such a gorgeous, iconic, majestic character that it would be simply a travesty to not have him be in Smash Brothers in some capacity. I think he would also work the best as an assist trophy of the characters. Obviously, I'd want him as a playable character over that, but as an assist trophy, that would still be pretty nice, and would also pave the way to him being a character such as it did with Little Mac. So that's basically all I have to say about the ARMS characters being in Smash Brothers. I think I've covered most of it. I think ARMS is a very likely candidate for being in Smash Brothers, possibly the most likely of any of the new franchises. It's a very great game, and this would be a wonderful way to have it in Smash Brothers. So those are just some of my ideas, and I think some of them are reasonably likely. Some of them are more long shots, such as the Helix stuff. But I can still see it happening, and if it did, I would be eternally grateful to our Father, our Lord and Savior, Sakurai. So please do that and release the game so I can play it. I guess I'm done talking now. We'll have more videos in the future. I'll probably see all of you in the future.